Hey everybody, Robbie T back here. Just wanted to put together a quick video as I kind of transition into this fall period. We got down to 44 degrees last night, which is by far the coldest I've seen. We've been having about a 20-degree difference between the afternoons and when we wake up first thing in the morning. So it is here, and my bait selections do start to change a little bit from that southern summer pattern. So I just wanted to go through real quick, let you know what I'm throwing. Um, and let you know that I do primarily fish bodies of water that lack shad. So I know a lot of the videos that we see out there are geared toward lakes that do have shad. But I think what you're going to find is that my bait selection isn't a whole lot different. The colors may vary a little bit just because I've got some more perch and some bluegill and crappie. But my theory is a bass is a bass. They need to feed, they need to eat, and they need to do that before the winter gets here. So here's a little quick rundown of the baits that I'm going to have tied on most of the time while I'm fishing in the fall. I'm going to start from top to bottom. I really love a buzz bait in the fall. I keep it pretty simple on my buzz baits. I'm either going to throw black or I'm going to throw white. And that's about all there is to it. You know, I can cover a lot of water. That's kind of my search bait for first thing whenever I get to the lake, and I will keep that tied on all afternoon this time of the year. I'm also going to have a square bill tied on. Notice mine, a lot of these are bluegillish type colors. If the water gets a little bit dirty, I'll go with a chartreuse. But, you know, if you've got bluegill imitators, this is Rapala, this is the little DT4. This is olive green craw, and I really love this bait. This is probably my go-to if I'm going to be fishing really shallow water. It just kind of mimics everything. It doesn't look exactly like anything, but it could be a shad, it could be a bluegill, it could be a crappie. I don't know. This just has really tight wobble. The balsa makes it float really well, so I don't really get it hung up all that often. When I do, you know, the makeup of this thing kind of really helps me out. But those are some of my go-tos. These other ones that I have been playing with, this is the Sixth Sense. This is their finesse little square bill. Neat little bait. It has a really cool hunting action to it, and as always, Sixth Sense does a really nice job in their paint schemes. And then from Rapala, of course, they have the good old bluegill. You can't go wrong there. And then this is the Sixth Sense. This is the Crush 50. It's going to run, I can get it down probably 5 or 6 feet on 10-pound line. Some of my favorite little crankbaits there. And then this next category, this is kind of a broad category depending on if there's any grass left, depending on how deep I'm fishing, and depending on the wind and the conditions that given day. So I'm going to lump these all into a similar category. If they're kind of finicky, I'll go with a little Easy Shiner. That's a 1/4 ounce head from Buckeye. Has a little weed guard on it, so it doesn't get hung up in some of the places these other ones do with the exposed hook. Mostly throwing, these are either Rage Swimmers in the 375, or I'll throw the Kitech in the 3.8 size. That seems to be my bread and butter. If I want a little bit more secondary action, but not all the flash of something with a blade, I'm just going to go with a regular swim jig. White produces for me, even though, like I said, it's not an area that has a ton of shad. Shows up really well in all water clarities. And again, same little swim bait on the back of that. Or I'll put on a Straight King Rage Menace. I really like that as a trailer on these. But small, compact, it doesn't have all the flash and thud of a chatterbait or a spinnerbait. But there are times when those come into play. So I'm always going to have in the box a chatterbait with me. I will switch up the trailer depending, again, trying to mimic a bluegill here, so just matching the hatch on that deal. And then the spinner baits, I really like the Screaming Eagle. It's the 1/2 ounce, but really small, compact profile from War Eagle. You can burn this thing, and it's going to stay down. That's one of the favorite things I like about that. So there's a perch or sunfish color. Double check that. That's gold shiner color. Spot remover is probably my all-time favorite War Eagle color. You can find that in a couple other brands. And then mouse. This is actually the little 5/16 that Mike McClellan, the the finesse spinner bait. So this is a really good one for smaller ponds, smaller bodies of water, or if the fish are being a little bit temperamental. Those are my 3 go-to colors. If I really need to get finessey, I think this little Ned rig, it kind of works year round. Everybody knows about that. That's the new hot thing. I guess it's not so new anymore. And then I'm going to have a Senko, either weighted. I may put a little 1/8 ounce weight on there, or we'll go ahead and wacky rig that. So the next and final bait that I'm always going to have tied on, again, this depends on where I'm fishing. It's going to be a jig. This is a little bit of a hybrid jig, kind of has a swim head, but you can cast it, you can drag it, you can flip it if you want to, in a 1/2 ounce with a little Rage Craw trailer on it. Again, going for that bluegill imitation. I'm also going to have my options for black and blue, just a regular flipping jig. And then I really like a finesse type of a jig this time of year. This is just a little ball head. I believe that's the Ned Bug from Strike King on the back of that. I'll also throw the baby structure bug too. So those are great little trailers to match up with a smaller jig. But this is going to be my pond bait. This is the bait that sometimes the bigger jig scares away the smaller fish. If I'm not so much worried about size, I'm just going out for numbers. I'm always going to have this little finesse jig tied on. But if I need a bigger bite, I'll go up to the full-size jig. So that's it. I'm going to have a topwater. I'm going to have a square bill crankbait. I'm going to have a handful of baits that I can swim. And I'm going to have my finesse, my Senkos, my Ned rigs, as well as a jig tied on. So hope that helps somebody. I will give honorable mention to the lipless crankbait. I, for the life of me, cannot figure these things out. I have tried and tried and tried. I catch fish on a square bill. I catch fish yo-yo and other baits. I've tried burning, straight retrieving. The lipless crankbait is my nemesis. But I'm going to keep at it. Eventually it's going to work out. I got to figure something out. But it's in the box. Whether I tie it on or not, that's a different story. And then, of course, I'm always going to have a couple of frogs with me. I don't think it's late enough yet to rule that out, but I like the buzzbait a little bit better just because of the amount of water that I can cover. And also have a little walking bait or a spook style bait with me, depending on where I'm at and what kind of bite that I get on that particular day. But that's just a quick rundown. 5 or 6 baits that I never leave home without during this time of year. Hope you liked and appreciate you watching. Take care.